All right, have some difficulties. Peace to the planet. Let's see if anybody's in here. I'm gonna let some of y'all come in here. Bear with me for a second. Sorry, we had a snafu a little while ago with the actual recording. Let me pull up my laptop, see what y'all see. Since nobody's here, bear with me. Once you come in the building, give me a shout out. Let me know you can hear me. Things aren't overpowering. If you guys are there, just type something in the comments. Know how you feeling. How's everybody doing? Oh, I see people coming in the building. Shout out to everybody, all the new subscribers, all the people that have, signed up. Man, it's flattering. I am grateful, thankful, and very appreciative to have you here. If you come in the building, please hit the like button. It does help, with the algorithms and things like that. And we're gonna talk, have a session real quick. I just want to pull this up, and we'll get into some decoding. We know we had this election situation going on. The businesses are boarded up. Everyone is everyone is scared, nervous. Anxiety is high, so forth and so on. And we're all trying to figure out how we're gonna make it, how we're gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? 2020 has been a crazy year with all the things that have been happening. From Kobe Bryant, started with Kobe Bryant, and then coronavirus, and now we have the situation with this election. Trump talking about he's gonna go to enact legal means to change things and manipulate things in his favor. And it's really a situation where you could be very tense around this time if you don't really know what you're doing. You could be very just have high anxiety, high stress levels. Who's going to be the new president? Who's going to be the new vice president? How is the country changing? Who's going to govern and things like that. This is what's on a lot of people's mind. This is what's on the masses' mind. I've been kind of thinking about doing this subject for a while, and I kind of held on to it. I wanted to hold on to it till after voting, and I think going through this video is going to be very important. If YouTube cuts me off for playing this, YouTube cuts me off for playing this, then just I'll come back. I just won't come back with the video, but I can still explain what I want to explain without coming back to the video. Peace to Sean, peace to Nisi, peace to Alexis. Yes, thank you guys for being in the building. And the reason I want to go through this video and uncover what's going on is to show you guys some signs and symbols. Signs and symbols are the first language in the universe. Peace, Nicole. Signs and symbols are the first language in the universe. They're the first language that has ever been communicated. You have to remember, before language was created, it was just grunts and sounds. People had to learn how to speak. That's why there's so many different languages. People had to learn how to communicate. So the first way of communication was through wall paintings, through hieroglyphs, through images themselves. So signs and symbols are always the first language. So being that those of us, hopefully, that follow me are into spirituality, manipulated, and not even know it. Now, this whole thing with Monsieur Diddy is this whole party that he started. I believe this video came out a couple of years ago, maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I'm not sure. Not, I'm sorry, not years. Maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months. I'm not sure, but I saw it a couple weeks ago. And it's very interesting what he's saying. It's very interesting the motif, the color scheme that he's using, and let's just get into it. Let's get into a little bit of it, and then we'll break it down piece by piece, and you'll see. But to start it off, what I want to show you is how yin and yang is used against you in the occult world. How yin and yang is used against you. Yin and yang meaning black and white, positive and negative, good and evil. Or not even good and evil, just positive and negative energy, right? Light energy, dark energy, whatever you want to call it, right? This is going to show you how this how spells get cast, and if you're not careful, you'll get caught up. And I'm just going to show you how this is just a big spell, right? And we'll go into it again. If YouTube cuts me off, I'll come back. I just won't be showing the video, or maybe I'll show it without sound. But let's go. Let's start it off, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay, so let's stop. Okay, actually, I want to show you something. Boom. Okay, first things first. So now, when you're looking at something like this, a production, first and foremost, this is heavily edited. And as we go through the video, I'll show you how this is heavily edited. Now, the things we're going to focus on is, and I'm just going to probably not going to play every piece of this. I'm just going to show you some scenery and show you how one, black people at mass are being manipulated. That's one. And two, in various ways via the media. And this is one of the ways that they're being manipulated. And I'm going to show you how the roots of this really goes to a secret society. So even though you think that, see, the big mythology is the mythology of race. Race was created in the 1700s in Virginia. Race was when the powers that be, the elite at that time, had black, white, Indian people, all sorts of people subjugated and under slavery. And they decided that they want to get together and go against the landlords at the time, or the landholders at that time. And what the landowners decided to do was start a campaign through the media of making the races, the quote unquote races, the black, brown, and those that were other than white, to demonize them, to make them seem evil, to make them seem inferior, to make them seem worthless, to discredit them. So the whole notion of race was created. And even if you go back in time, this whole race was really created from the Dravidian blacks, or the ancient, what you call Indians, the people that we call Indians from India, not the American Indians, the Indians in India, actually. And what happened was the Aryans came down from the mountains, right? What we call Caucasians. They would call themselves Aryans, or the Aryan Nation. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Aryan Nation, the white supremacist group. And what happened was the Caucasians, the Aryans came down and met with the Indians. And the Indians, the black people at that time that have occupied that space in India, they didn't know what this was. They didn't understand it. And therefore, because they didn't understand it, they started to praise white skin because it was unique, it was rare. So they started the caste system, and the caste system started with how light you are, you were more favorable. You were considered much more desirable. You would get different access to different things and different access to power. But the darker you were, the lower down the caste system you were. And it is still that way in India to this day. All right. So that hasn't changed. So if you want to go back to this whole division, this is really what it started from. And I just want to show you how black and white is used in this scenario. Now, if you look at Charlemagne and Diddy, to the casual observer who's not deep diving into these things, excuse me, it looks regular. Diddy got a white shirt on, white pick matching, right? Looks real cool. Charlemagne has a black shirt on. Okay. Now, this particular motif of black and white, this is not by accident. This black and white motif has been used, and it's exclusively been used in masonry, Freemasonry, for a long, long time. Okay. So when you see this black and white thing, you've seen this over and over before. So let's go into this and let's see what he's talking. Now, Diddy's talking very spicy, right? Very aggressive. Those of you who have seen this, he's going very hard in this particular video about black people. But remember the Matrix 2, when the Oracle met with Neo. The Oracle told Neo that there are programs that are running programs, meaning that the Matrix has programs that run other programs. So that means if you are Black Hebrew, there's a program for you. That means if you are Black Power, there's a program for you. That means if you're a Black occultist, there are programs for you. That means if you're a Black political scientist, there's a program for you. Black Republican, Black Democrat, there's programs designed to program you. Okay? If you're white, if you're Asian, there's programs designed to program you. And the best way to see that is via social media. Pick up your friend's phone one day and ask them to scroll through it. Your child, somebody you know, there's different things that they get on their timeline that you don't get because there's different programs based on the behavior that you put into the server itself. So the server itself is a reflection of you. That's what you have to remember. So the server itself is a reflection of you. And we're going to get into the we're going to get into a little bit why this, how this server is a reflection of you, and how that's even going to be more impactful in the future. So these guys are in black and white. Okay, so let's go into some screenshots. All right, so let's go into, this is, we all know who this is, 6ix9ine. Okay, we see the checkerboard on the floor. All right, and there's many other instances of this. I'm just going to show a few, so this isn't a 4-hour video, but you see the checkerboard that he's pissing on. Okay, let's go into Cardi B money video. Okay, you see the black and white motif. Okay, you see her looking at like the sun. All right, why are they using these colors, these yin and yang colors? Why is this so repetitive? Okay, WAP. Okay, you see the floor. Now you may say, oh, that's not white. It might look blue, but it is still that similar type of pattern, half and half. And I would say that that is probably an off-white, if anything, but that is still that type of pattern. Okay, you've seen it again in WAP. Okay, the black and white. Also, if you look at Megan Thee Stallion's performance on SNL, where she quoted the words of Malcolm X, saying that the black woman is the most unprotected, which is really not true. Sorry, black women, it's really not true. The black child is the most unprotected on the planet. Children in general are the most unprotected people on the planet, not black women. So you have to shift that victimhood and give it to the kids because they're the real victims. As an adult, you know, no matter what your circumstances are, there is a way to change it. It may be difficult, it may be awkward, it may take some cunning, it may take some strategy, but as an adult, there is a way, a will and a way to change your or change your environment and change the outcome of your life. But a child doesn't have that choice. Okay? We said the media isn't attacking kids. Oh, the media attacks kids every day. What do you think these videos are for? What do you think these movies are for? What do you think certain programming in cartoons are for? Where, you know, you'll see certain cartoons where they the black girl's hair is undesirable, or the white character touches the black girl's hair and the black girl and they'll go ew. And there's all sorts of programming, subliminal programming that is done to children specifically. The music industry itself is geared towards children. The the prize demographic of the music industry is 13 to 28. That's the demographic that they're looking for. That's a demographic that video, VH1, MTV, that's what they all want. Spotify, they all want that demographic. One, because they have disposable income, and two, because they're very malleable. They don't know anything, you know, so they're easily controlled. They're easily manipulated. That's why you can have a million celebrities tell people to go vote for a new massa, right? And And maybe in the middle of the year they didn't want to vote, or they was like, what does this mean? What is this doing? We want justice for George Floyd. And instead of switching to justice, now it's about taxes. Now it's about, switch from justice to George Floyd to and justice for Breonna to now it's about how Biden's tax plan, how back to how Trump is racist, right? Now it's back to these different things. So the media is manipulating not only children, but the minds of adults that act like children as well. Okay? The minds of sheep, period. The minds of people who don't think for themselves. So this black and white motif is the checkerboard. Okay? So again, you see it right here, Cardi B, privacy. Okay? So this is the Masonic checkerboard in effect, and I'll show you the Masonic Lil Uzi Vert. Okay? So this is what this is what it is. This is what they're trying to do. This is what they're trying to, this is what they've done. This is what they're trying to do. And what they're trying to do with this is a form of hypnotism. Okay, this is a form of hypnotism. This is a form of using balance against you. This is a form of entrancement. All right, and they use it again in this video. Okay, when you could easily Google, actually, we'll do it real quick. I might already have it. No, I'll show you. It is so hot in here. Okay. Okay. So just want to show you these Masonic boards. Okay. The checkered floor of the Masonic Hall, the checkered floor of the Masonic Hall. All right. Another checkerboard floor of the Masonic Hall, checkerboard floor. Okay. And all I did was Google checkerboard Masonic, which you could do for yourself. Okay. So this is what they use for the enter the apprentice. It's actually on their aprons. Now a lot of people think masonry is bad. Masonry is literally ancient Kemetic magic or ancient Kemetic secrets. You could say Sumerian. You could go back that far. Sumer is the distant neighbor of Kemet, but everybody tries to say Sumerian was before Kemet. Well, that's actually false if you do the research. Kemet was established way before Sumer, and Sumer was established shortly after. But the language of Sumerian still exists. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. But this black and white is very significant, and it simply means transformation. It simply means that these people in this music industry have entered. Usually, they're entering. When you see them with black and white, when you see them first come into the music industry, this is part of their initiation. Like, so you see them with this black and white, and you also see it when they're using or performing certain videos when they want to entrance the masses, because it's used for spell casting as well. This is the Masonic floor. So this is where all the rituals are done. This is where all the initiations are done. This is where all the sacrificing is done, right? And I won't go deep into Masonic ritual. That's things you have to look into for yourself. So just want to show you how this is magic happening, okay? So Charlemagne has on black. Diddy has on white, okay? And how did they start this? Now, why is he talking about a race war? Okay, this was weeks back. Why is he talking about a race war? But he's talking about this race war because it's an agenda and it's a spell to set you up for what's about to come ahead, which is a manufactured form of a race war. That's what's coming next with this whole election thing, with this whole Trump, uh, excuse me, filing legal challenges, this undecided thing with Biden, this whole election scam, this whole this year 2020 is full of scams, but the scam is all mental and it's designed to take your mind away from your best interests, from you, your family, those you love, from you becoming a better person, and keep you trapped in the matrix and keep you scared, keep you nervous, and keep your brain power low. Remember, when you're under stress, what happens is your body produces a substance called cortisol. What that cortisol does is that cortisol is causes your first of all, it causes your heart to accelerate. The blood leaves your brain because there's no time for complex equations when a car is coming at you when you're crossing the street. All right, there's no time for complex equations when a punch is coming towards your face. So your blood leaves your brain and it goes to your heart, your hands, and your feet to prepare you to fight and run, right? So imagine you're watching a news story, you're seeing all these things being boarded up. Well, you don't have to imagine it. This is what's really happening. You're seeing all these stores board up. You're seeing these things with Trump and Biden that's happening, and you're feeling like if Biden wins, which is kind of what I'm predicting is going to happen, because what they're going to usher in is really the new world order. That's really what this whole thing is designed to usher in a new world order, and we'll get into that later. But what they're trying to do is start and manufacture these type of tensions to keep you in this fight or flight mode and lower your vibration. Okay, and really it's because these next 2 months are the most important months of the year. Okay, because we're going into the winter solstice on December 21st, and December 21st is when life is going to change dramatically. It's when the universe is going to enact, right, it's retribution on the earth via energy, right? And we don't know, it could be a unification, as I showed in my 2022 future 2022 video. It could be a unification of universes where we're looking up December 21st and seeing universes from different galaxies and things like that, right? Or it could just be we see different things in the sky. But this December 21st is designed via the astrology, the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction is designed for something phenomenal to happen. Or we could just be getting leveled up with spiritual powers, right? But the powers that be do not want this to happen. They do not want us to level up. They do not want us to gain. They do not want us to gain these powers. They do not want us to gain these abilities. They do not want us to tap in. They do not want us to be in a space that we could receive our gifts during the time of December 21st, December 24th, the winter solstice. So there's going to be a lot of chaos. A lot of it's going to be manufactured, right? And a lot of spell casting, such as is going on right now, is going to happen. Okay, so let's get deeper. So this is why this race war is going to be manufactured. This is why there's going to be more things that are going to happen as time passes and as the months go by. And this is why you just got to be ready and you got to be able to see the signs and symbols. Okay, sort of black and white. And Charlemagne been initiated. Charlemagne been initiated a long time. If you listen to Charlemagne and if you watch, anything, Breakfast Club, any of his shows, he always talks about something gay. He always talks about doing gay things and being homosexual. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to be that, own it and accept it. All right. Be truthful. Don't hide. But he's always talking about, always, right? And he tries to make it's a joke. But that was part of his initiation into this music industry way back in the 90s, okay? And those people who are able to see and clairvoyant and just put the clues together, you'll be able to see that as well, right? But he's been initiated, and so has Diddy. So this is why he's sitting down with Charlemagne, okay? And this, you think this is not this whole clothing setup is not. This is pre-planned. This environment is pre-planned, okay? This is a production. This is a production. So this is not something that is random. Black and white.
I think this president has done a great job of battling America. When you move in fear, you don't have any leverage. The way I felt before is the way I still feel. Things have gotten too serious of a point. Seeing what's going on, white men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous. This man literally threatened the lives of
But if you look on Google, you will see pictures of Diddy and Trump partying, hanging out, ha ha, kiki, all that. These are facts.
us and our families. I'm back in standby. We're in a war. We're not taking this like it's a war. We're taking this like, oh, we're in
Let me
a
turn up.
presidential election. No, we're in a war of love versus hate.
That's better.
The number one priority is to get Trump out of office. The tribe of people that have the responsibility and really should be scared to death of this man is white people.
Explain.
If this man is elected, we're not standing by no more getting killed.
Now, the beginning. Okay, thank you, McQueen. What's going on? One of my graduates of the elemental magic class. Shout out to you, elemental queen. Shout out to everybody in the building. Thank you guys for spending your time with me. Um, so he's talking to. So they start off with him talking about Trump, right? This is how he starts off. Again, this is heavily edited, but heavily edited. But he's talking about Trump. Why? Oh, why is the first thing that comes out of his mouth? Trump is to make Trump the bad guy. Now, what I want to tell you guys is yin and yang is about balance. Yin and yang is about balance. Yin and yang, the colors of black and white, are representations of creations. And let's just deep dive real quick into yin and yang. Let's see if we could pull this up. Maybe y'all can see this. All right. Let me see if they let me just pull it up. All right. So yin and yang, right? This is the symbol. This is what you're seeing right now in play. Okay, this is of course a magical symbol, right? Those of you who delve deep into magic, some of you who have taken my class know that you've seen seals with circles like this. Okay, this is also a magical seal. All right, it has both in there. This is what you are. You come from darkness into light, but darkness contains light, and light contains darkness because that's where it's from. Darkness representing the female, the mother energy, which is the yin energy, the energy of the feminine, or darkness, or dark matter, or the quantum realm, or the spirit world, right? These are all factors of darkness. Amenta, right? Sleep, when you sleep, when you're in deep meditative states, right? When your eyes are closed. These are all the darkness that you go into, right? But darkness, out of darkness comes light, right? We all come from the darkness of our mother's womb. So this light is masculine energy, okay? This is the yang energy. So the yang energy deals with things that are external. It deals with humans. It deals with creation. It deals with building. It deals with love, connecting with others, right? It deals with things that are external. It doesn't deal the yang, the yin deals with things that are internal, and the yang deals with things that are external. So this is the balance of life. This is actually using mental magic, right? Using your mind, meditating, visualizing, right? Channeling energy through your heart chakra, doing ritual, right? But not ceremonial, just doing, you might dance, you might pray, you might chant, right? And this is ceremonial magic. We actually have the candles, right? You have the altar, you might have a particular seal, you might be working with herbs, right? So there's different forms of magic, even in the yin and the yang. And this is how you balance life. So when they call things good and evil, I don't want you to look at things as good and evil, Because when you get caught in good and evil, you get caught in these two sides. You get caught in a Democrat Republican. You get caught in a black versus white. You get caught in America versus us. You get caught in the ADOS and the FBA versus all the other Africans, which we'll get into shortly, right? But when you understand that all things have their purpose, for instance, there's a time to be yin, to be peace, to be calm, to be restful, right? There's a time to relax. And then there's a time to be yang. There's a time to wake up. There's a time to go get it. There's a time to make moves. So everything has a purpose when you are dealing with somebody, right? You're in a relationship or friendship. There's a time with that friend where you have to be relaxed, where you got to be cool, where you got to be tender, where you have to be nurturing. But then there's a time where you got to have fun. You got to go out. You got to date. You got to crack jokes. You got to laugh, right? So there is polarity in everything. The only evil is lived backwards. Lived backwards is the devil. Live, Live, backwards is evil. So when things or when something, someone doesn't allow you to live, and what life is really about is growth. Ultimately, life is about growth. That's what everything in life does. Everything in life is eating to grow, to grow. We all are living to grow mentally, physically, even if it's just to maintain your day-to-day existence. That is a form of growth because every day you're getting older. Every day you're growing into something different. Mentally, you're supposed to be growing into something different as well. And if you're not controlling that growth, guess what? Somebody's going to put you in the yin or the yang, and they're going to control your growth for you, which is what this video was trying to do. And this video and this particular motif, what they're trying to do is control your perception and control you playing sides. So don't look at evil like don't like people say, oh, for instance, if somebody sells drugs, right? Some people have this idea: if someone sells drugs, right, they're evil because drugs destroy the community. But you don't know why this person is destroying the community. This is the drug seller. This is the drug seller. What you see, the visual, right? Him selling drugs. So that's the yang, okay? That's the yang. But there's a darkness in him. There's a darkness. There's a seed, right? The black dot, right? The melanin. There's the seed. There's the mother. There's a source, a darkness as to why he's selling drugs. You understand? There's a source, but no, but the media doesn't really want you to look at the source for the mainstream. They want to keep you in the yang. Am I making sense? Let me know if drop a one if I'm making sense. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, just want to make sure because I know it's a concept. We're not taught this concept in church. We're not taught this concept in America. We're not taught this concept of yin and yang. We're taught via the Bible. We're taught via the Quran. We're taught that bad is a demon, and bad is something that greets you in the night, and bad is the exorcist, demon possessing you, and bad is someone, yes, if someone is stopping you from growing, yes, if somebody takes from you, that's evil because they're stopping you from growing. Somebody steals your money or steals your car, yes, they're stopping you from growing, they're stopping you from glowing, they're stopping you from shining, it's stopping you from branching out, it's holding you back, it's causing you distress. So yeah, that's a form of evil because it's stopping you from living. You know what I'm saying? And that is when you're not thinking about one part or another. You're just thinking about, sometimes you're just thinking about yourself. You're in the yang part, right? You're not thinking about the yin. You're not thinking about the other person. And sometimes you go, you're not even, sometimes when you're depressed, you're just stuck in the yin, right? You don't want to do shit. You're just stuck in the yin. But eventually you come out of depression and you hit this little yang part, okay? So yin and yang. That's, so I'm breaking this down just so you understand the transformative power of using these two things to get against you, and how they can manipulate yin and yang, and how they manipulate yin and yang in media to control you and sway your opinion and sway your perspective, because this is a very, very powerful and transformative symbol that we sleep on. All right. And the funny thing is, this is by Jordan Peterson. Okay, Jordan Peterson says, Jordan Peterson explains. Jordan Peterson is a genius, white dude. I suggest watch some of his videos. He's quite intelligent, and very much a philosopher, but on point, knows what he's talking about. All right, so this is just a random that I pulled this up. All right, so let's get back into the video.
We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war. If
So with it being on the verge of a race war, he's taking a side. Okay, he's saying that we're on the verge of a race war, and black people are going to be fighting with white people. Now, realistically, right? But this is realistically. If black people are fighting with white people in America, we're going to lose. It's a fact. And the reasons being is because we're outnumbered. We're outnumbered and we're outgunned. White people in America control the military. And I don't know if you guys have seen military weaponry, but they have military weaponry where they don't even need to touch you. They can simply send heat waves now, especially with the 5G, and that literally the wave will force you back. The microwave energy will force you back and force you to fold. They could send sound out of their trucks that'll cripple you and have you fold. So if you think you're going to win an armed combat with white America, black man and black woman, you are sadly mistaken. But you can survive a race war if you're smart, if there is a manufactured race war. And very simply, how you do that is by forming alliances. That's it. Form alliances. All right.
people in America want a race war, they'll not vote. I'm an independent, first of all. When I vote, I try to do what's best for my community.
Let's be clear on that. You're not standing behind your decision to hold your vote anymore. You want people to go out there and vote.
It would be irresponsible of me to have us hold our vote hostage. But it would also be irresponsible of me to just let this moment go by. The world is watching, and not do everything I can to make sure that going forth that we're a part of the narrative, that we own our politics.
You can't save us, Diddy. No entertainer is ever going to be in a position to save you. No politician is ever going to be in a position to save you. No guru, no teacher, no leader. No one is going to be able to save you but you. So you have to, and but with that being said, an entertainer of all people, Diddy, how many people that he screwed over in the music industry, and you want us to join you and your political party? Come on, fam.
And so I'm launching one of the boldest movements that I've ever launched. And it's called Our Black Party.
Okay.
It's time for us to have our own black political party, unapologetically. Because right now, if you look at the debates, we're not even a part of the conversation.
Not at all.
We're not a part of the conversation. We don't have any political power. We don't have any political leverage. And so we started Our Black Party with some young, fearless black activists, elected officials, and I've stepped up and put the money behind it. This is the
Now, he said he stepped up and put the money behind it. Now, as we go further into the video, he's going to also say that he doesn't want to deal with anybody that we've been looking at. Because Charlamagne mentioned like the Angela Rise and the Mark Lamont Hills and all that, and he was like, "Nah, nah, we need new people. We need fresh places, fresh faces, because these are people that are controlled by the secret societies, which are puppeted by Diddy, which we'll get into shortly. Don't worry, I'm getting there."
biggest threat and the only option that we have right now as far as making a change, taking our own self-responsibility and accountability to be
Black, white.
educated and empowered with our vote.
So what's the goal for our Black Party?
Our Black Party's number one goal is to unify behind a black agenda. That's it. You could be a part.
Now, The reason I called this Diddy Decoded and the Myth of Race is because I want to break this down, this whole black agenda thing. Okay? First and foremost, and this may make some of you mad, this may make you upset. I don't care. I'd rather tell you the truth and you be upset than lie to you like everybody else is. You are in an avatar body living in a holographic universe. You are a motherfucking sim. Okay? Let's get that straight. You are living in a holographic universe. You're living in a hologram. You're living in a hologram. Just like Morpheus said in the Matrix, the reason that you are able to experience the world is because of your five senses, right? Really, you have seven. You have intuition, right? And you have precognition, or what you call the clairs, clairvoyant, clairsentience, right? Or whatever psychic ability you also have. So you really have seven senses. But those seven senses are simply electrical signals that are interpreted by your brain. A touch is the electrical signal. Light is an electrical signal. Sound is an electrical signal. Scent is an electrical signal. All these things are electrical signals that allow you to interact with the environment. Within you, though, there are amoebas, there are single cell organisms, there are multiple cells. You are a universe unto yourself. But this whole universe, and it has been proven, and science will tell you that this is a holographic universe. We live in a hologram. We live in a created reality. Okay, not that this is not real. Okay, this is only a shell that you're in. You are literally in an avatar. This is a shell. This physical body is nothing more than a shell for your spirit, or a shell for your energy, or a shell for your soul or your sun. So this avatar body that you call black, the reason you are born black in this avatar body is when so that during this life, I should say, you have been granted the ability to master this reality with additional tools that people of other races or other nationalities during this lifetime, while you are here during this time, do not have. So you have you melanin, you have you melanin, and you have more you melanin than most people because you're melanated. So you have the quick twitch function. You're able to absorb energy from the sun and absorb light from the sun and convert it to energy. But that is up to you, or it's up to you as to what you do with that energy, as to how you manipulate that energy. You could have all the melanin in the world, right? And it's similar to having, I've said this before, it's similar to having a Ferrari and driving around the projects if you don't do anything with it. If a white person, right, so-called white person, goes and does the work, does the spiritual work, does the meditations, does the grounding, is a good person, treats people the way he wants to be treated, right? Observes the law of cause and effect, observes the laws of polarity, observes the law of mentalism, and so forth and so on, and does all the things that are in accordance with self mastery, then they could surpass you. They could surpass you. And they will, because the universe doesn't care, right? Just like the Bible says, it rains on the wicked and the good. It doesn't care. The sun shines on everyone every day. It's not arbitrary like that. It's just what you give the universe, it gives back to you. It's just like the computer. That's why the computer is called the Chem Ptah, right? The Chem, the darkness, the blackness of the universe, or as I just showed you, the Yang, right? The Ptah, the light or the mound coming out from the darkness, which is from the Memphite theology. Or you can simply say light, right? Just keep it simple. The light coming out from the darkness is the Ptah, or the Chem Ptah, the computer. So the computer is a representation of yin yang itself, is a representation of what the energy that you put in is the energy that you get back. So the server serves you who and what you are. Okay. And the server is trying to guide you and manipulate you. That's why you could be talking about a Toyota and then probably me saying Toyota. When I go on Instagram or Facebook, the next ad I'm going to see is for a Toyota. That's what the server does. That's the manipulation. Okay. And what they're trying to do is basically create a universe for you, a universe in your mind. Okay. The slavery, the bondage is no longer here. The bondage is here. Okay. So this is the trap. So when you're talking about you're a black person and when your pride is simply that you're black, no. Your pride should be that you are a God. That's where your pride should come in at. Knowing that you are a God, knowing that you are a master of the universe, knowing that no matter who comes at you, black, white, Chinese, Mexican, Taino, alien, that you are going to be good and that you are going to be great because you have enough history and enough in your ancestral lineage, right? Enough proof in your ancestral lineage that you could overcome and defeat anything. Just the story of Harriet Tubman alone, right, is enough. Just the story of George Washington Carver, who have what 200 something patents on peanuts, right? Harriet Tubman went back and forth to free the slaves, free her family, right? These things are miraculous. Frederick Douglass learning to read and escaping a plantation. These things are miraculous. So the reason that you're born and incarnated in this avatar body at this time as a black person is so that you can master the universe and so that you don't reincarnate and come back here, right? It's not for you to be anti-white. It's not for you to really be anti anything. It's for you to be anti-evil. That's it. Anti things that are anti-life, anti things that are anti-growth. And guess what? All skin folk ain't kinfolk. All black people are not the same. We don't all think the same. A black person in Jamaica does not think like a black person in Europe. A black person in Europe does not think like a black person in America. A black person in America does not think like a black person in Antigua. A black person in Antigua does not think like a black person in Jamaica. Okay? A black person down south does not does not think like a black person in New York. Even New York, New Jersey. A black person in Jersey is different than a black person in New York. And we right next to each other. So I say all that to say is I'm not saying don't have pride in your history. I'm not saying how don't have pride in your culture or your heritage. Your heritage is your inheritance. So that's your inheritance. You inherited being black. You inherited a culture. You inherited food. You inherited certain ways of dance. You inherited certain rituals, right? You inherited being part of the seed that started humanity. That's a beautiful thing. But don't waste it being caught up in division. Use the universe for what you need. We use all sorts of people. A lot 9 times out of 10, when I took a flight, there were white people that were piloting the plane. I didn't hop off the plane, right? Right? I didn't hop off the plane. So you got to be careful on how you're being manipulated. You know what type of energy they're putting in you. The media itself, right? Are you a god or are you a black person? You got to make a choice. I'm God. I'm a black person here on earth, but ultimately, when it comes down to it, my identity is not as a black man. My identity is as a black God. My identity, my identity is as a black God. That's who I am ultimately. All right.
Part of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, you can be an independent. But if you black, you wasn't born Republican, you wasn't born Democrat, you wasn't born independent, you was born black. And we have to seize our political power because it'll just be more the same. Being pushed this way, being pushed that way, and we expecting
Different result.
a different result. But the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over the same way, expecting a different result, and it's not going to happen. So we have to change the tone.
Which is the political process? Which is the political process? 100%. 100% is insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Black people in America really think that they could vote their way out of oppression. They could vote their way out of racism. They could vote their way out of pedophilia. Like people really think there's really a conversation. Some of y'all really have this that that if you vote for Trump, or if you vote for Trump in particular, that it's a vote against pedophilia. Like, Trump's a billionaire. I'm not saying he's a pedophile, but Trump's a billionaire. They all run in the same circles. Clinton, Obama, Trump, they all run in the same circles. They all have the same connections, right? There was pictures of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not saying he did it, anything. I'm just saying that if you think that you could vote away, there's a pedophile being born right now. There's a rapist being born right now. There's a racist being born right now. These are concepts, these are ideologies that are passed on. And guess what? Even in places where you have all black people, look at what's happened in Nigeria with SARS. Okay, this is black people killing black people. Now you could say white people are behind it and so forth and so on, but those black people are pulling the trigger, right? They're the ones pulling the trigger. Their bodies is pulling the trigger, even if they're being puppeted. So we got to be careful with this whole race thing, this whole anti-white supremacy thing, this whole white privilege thing, these things that we say out of our mouth, because not only are we losing power by saying these things, we're giving our power away and saying these things are equal forces or these things are higher white supremacy, right? White privilege. We're saying these things are higher, more powerful, and much greater than we are. Okay. So we got to be careful with identity politics, identifying ourselves as the human, identifying ourselves as this avatar when it is not necessary. Okay. I watch these things like a movie. Okay. I watched this whole 2020 like a movie. I don't participate. I watch it like I'm watching anything on TV. All right. I don't engage myself emotionally. Right. I think the last time I got emotionally involved is the George Floyd thing, because unfortunately I scrolled and I was forced to watch some of it. So I did get pissed for a second. Right. And then I caught myself like, whoa, hold up. He's going to get the settlement. Right. They're going to get the settlement. So let me not get emotionally involved. So you got to be careful. We all got to be careful. Okay. Don't identify yourself with this human shit. There's going to be, if Joe Biden wins, there's going to be black people in the streets dancing, skipping, jumping, creating songs, right? It's going to be look crazy out here, all right? Especially with this quote unquote election anxiety. Like, they have something called election anxiety that they're talking to people about. Why in the world would you have faith in 2020 in one of these white people to save you, or one of these white people to really help you? Why would you be anxious? Why would you care?
We got to start with us stepping up and really taking the responsibility and accountability to be a part of this political movement.
The hardest part of that is going to be getting other black people to buy into it.
This is not for all black people. You know what I'm saying? This is not for the scary ones. This is for the ones that want to move things forward and want to get to the smoke. A black person spends an average of like 5 hours on Instagram a day. If you could give Instagram that time, 15 minutes, 15 minutes you can give to educating yourself. And our black party's that platform. So when we get down to the local elections, when we get down to the school board,
Right, Alexis, right.
judges and the justice system,
Exactly.
that's so confusing for us. We've never played this game. It's another level of gangster. But I played this game before, you know? I started in 2004 when Voter died, and this is the evolution of that thought, of that empowerment, of that independence, of us taking self-accountability so we're not caught with our pants down like this election. Right now, we're not going to get nothing. We caught with our pants down. We're not organized. We're not ready to...
You're never going to get nothing really in the system the way it is. You're not going to get. Matter of fact, let me say something. You are going to get something, right? Because in the future, what's coming up is this basic universal income, right? Which we're going to get to short. Actually, let me speed this up because I want to get into that. You could watch a lot of this for yourself, but I want to show y'all Diddy's chains because I think I'm getting into an hour. So it means I've been yapping too much. Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all here. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Okay. So these are the chains he's wearing, right? That's how deep I be diving. So these are the chains. This is the chains he's wearing. Okay. Now this particular chain, and I'll show you in some more slides. But you'll see this cross is a Rosicrucian cross that he has on. Rosicrucians are a secret society. Now I've looked at a lot of pictures of Diddy while I was doing the research for this. I've never seen him wear this particular chain, which tells me, and based on the colors, that this is a ritual. All right. Now I just want to show you some more images. Okay. So let's do it again. All right. So now, if you look, okay, you'll also see that there is also another cross, right? It looks like the red cross. I don't know if you can see it, or hopefully you can see it good. You might have to squinch a little bit, but that's the best way I could get it. You'll see the top of the Rosicrucian cross, which I'll show you shortly, and this particular cross, which looks like a red cross. Okay, there's two of them in here. Let me show you another video. Okay. Now, you can't really see it really good in this one, but you can see more of the Rosicrucian cross right behind here. All right. You can see it right there, the tip of it. All right. And let me just show you one more picture. All right. And you can see the cross better here with you can see the cross better here, right? Behind this particular image. And this is two crosses, two Red Cross. Now, did you know the Red Cross is a free Masonic organization? So when the situation in Haiti happened, when all these emergencies happen, when you give money to the Red Cross, you're really giving money to Freemasons, to Masonic organizations. Bet you didn't know that. All right, here we go again. Okay, play that one more time. Okay, so you can see the cross. All right, Rosicrucian cross, or they call it the Rosy cross. All right, and you see this particular chain, but if you turn to the front, it's actually, this has two crosses in it. So there's one cross right here, there's another cross right there. Two of those crosses that look like the same cross for the Red Cross. Now, let's go into what this Rosicrucian cross is. Ta-da! Now that's the same cross. That's the same cross that's on his chest. The Rosicrucian scheme of the alchemical tree. It's the same exact cross that is on his neck. Not a coincidence. Okay? Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. Let's go back. Just so I can show you again so you can really see it for yourself. Okay? It's right there. Okay? Y'all see it? Y'all see it? Right there. All right? And that's just one of the crosses. We're going to get into what it means right now. Okay? So here is, so the Rosicrucian cross. So let's go into the Rosicrucians. what they are. This is called the Rosy Cross. Rosy Cross is a symbol largely associated with the semi-mythical Christian Rosicrucian, Kabbalist, alchemist, and founder of the Rosicrucian order. Okay, the Brotherhood of the Holy Cross, Rosicrucian fraternity. So fraternity, whenever you're dealing with a fraternity, you're dealing with a secret society. Okay, it says it right here. The Brotherhood of the Rosy Cross is a Rosicrucian society of hermetic wisdom, alchemical, mystical, theosophical, and spiritual truth. Okay, so he is 100% part of this particular order. Okay, now it says connections between Freemasonry and the Rose Cross exist from times preceding the formation of the actual Grand Lodge. So, before there was Freemasonry, there was Rosicrucianism. That's what they're trying to tell you. So, Rosicrucianism is the precursor to the modern day Freemason. The modern day Freemasons, the George Washingtons, right, the square and the compass, things like that. Rosicrucianism was actually first. So this was the ancient science, a very ancient order. And Diddy, with his financial wherewithal, can afford to be part of this particular order, right? So he is carrying out with this particular Black Party thing, he's carrying out a message from a higher order, so to speak. He's carrying a message from these Rosicrucians. Okay, so that's what's going on. Let's look at the Red Cross. Okay, Red Cross. Freemasons declared Red Cross premier partner of the decade. Okay, so whenever you're giving money away to the Red Cross, and you saw that when this popped up, you saw the square and the compass. Okay, these are who you're giving money to for the Red Cross when you're giving it for emergencies. This is why Haiti, after the hurricane, when people were giving all that money to the Red Cross, was never rebuilt. This is why when people were giving all that money to the Red Cross for Hurricane Katrina, they never went back to their homes and where they lived. So this is all a money grab. It's the same way how Black Lives Matter was getting all that money for Joe Biden, right? And once they got the money for Joe Biden, once the Joe, no, Joe Biden, sorry, Joe Biden got all this record. They said he got record donation money. Isn't it? Isn't it dubious or isn't it odd that he got this record donation money after everyone was donated to Black Lives Matter organization? All these millions went to Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Don't multi-million donation to Black Lives Matter. This donation to Black Lives Matter. This million donation to Black Lives Matter. All these millions were getting thrown to Black Lives Matter. Where did that money go? What did it build? What institutions? What laws were changed? What was corrected? What happened to that money? Where did it go? What use did it have? But Joe Biden had record donations this year. He had a record boost in donations. It's quite ironic that that happened around the same time. That both happened around the same time. So when we talk about this Rosicrucian thing, and the reason I wanted to get into this is because Aleister Crowley was a member of this one of these fraternities. Rosicrucianism was also part of, in Lovecraft country, they called it the Order of the Ancient Dawn, but it's really the Order of the Golden Dawn, which is the real fraternity. And you see the same cross being used. Okay, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, secret society. All right, and you see the same cross right here. So this is a new order that's using the same cross. And what they do is they create these different things, these different rituals through music, through the music industry, through artists and things like that, using different colors and different tonal frequencies in the music, changing the music from 432 hertz to 440 and things like that, in order to manipulate your mind using brain waves, sound waves, and light waves, right? What you see and what you hear and what you feel. Okay? So music is the perfect combination of all three, right? Brain waves, because the music you're hearing lyrics, right? Light waves, you look at videos, and some people see sound as light. And also, when you listen to music, you tend to have create your own images. So, brain waves, light waves, sound waves, and you hearing the actual music. So this is what. So I'm showing you. This is one of the rituals that they use. Now, this Order of the Golden Dawn was in Lovecraft country. It was called the Order of the Ancient Dawn. Okay, the Order of the Ancient Dawn, and that's what was his name? Hiram. Hiram was the head of the white dude who died in episode 2, who tried to steal Tick's soul. Okay, and speaking of tick, even if you look at the word politic, poly means many, and a tick is a bloodsucker. So many bloodsuckers. The way you win in politics is it's a quid pro quo. So if you give me the most money, I do what you say. And this is why black people in the political space can never win, because we don't own the printing press. We don't own the central bank. So whoever prints the money wins. Whoever has the most money wins. So those are the people who really win elections, whoever has the most money. Right? They're the people who influence policy. They're the people that influence what they call the PACs, or the political action committees, right? Not the common person. So this whole thing is pretty much a trick, right? This whole black party is a trick. First and foremost, you can't have a party just based on race. Like, what is that? You can't have a black party. What are you just gonna have? Hip hop artists telling you to vote? Like, that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So this whole thing is a spell that's put on people, and this spell is going to continue up until 2024, because it's really set up for that. And also designed, they tried to use Diddy to scare the people into being scared of a race war. The whole design of these secret societies is to keep power. They don't care about race. Well, let me not say that. They do want to keep it pure as far as bloodline, so they'll keep, they keep it as white as possible, but they don't care about poverty. They don't care about class, right? So if you are broke, right? That's why whenever you hear politicians, they never talk about the poor, even though it's a quote unquote Christian nation, and Jesus was specifically seeking poor, the downtrodden, right, and things like that. He was concerned with the poor. The poor were the people that he was looking out for. So this Christian nation is a hypocrisy. It's just a hypocrisy. So this is what's going on. So this is what's going on right now. And Aleister Crowley, right, famously, famous occultist, was also part of this particular order. So if you look at Lovecraft country, this is where it comes from. And the language of Adam was Sumerian, by the way. I looked that up just in case you want to know. And you want to concoct your own spells. There's a Sumerian alphabet online. So you can create your own spells using one of the most ancient languages, Sumerian. Hidden tip. So these chains and these spells and these rituals are what's happening. We live in what's called a simulation, the sentient world simulation. And what they're trying to do, speaking of, somebody asked what's going to happen in 2024. Well, I don't know specifically what's going to happen in 2024, but I could predict up to 2022 and beyond. And what's going to happen is, what's coming down the pike is this. And let me just pull this up. And if you notice this cross, this is also the Kabbalistic tree of life. So it's all these different arms or different alchemical connections. And this is, again, the chain that he's wearing in this, right? So, hold on 1 second. So what's about to happen is this: chaos is going to ensue for the next couple of months. This whole election thing is going to drag out as long as possible because they're keeping the people in fear and keeping the people in lower vibration, which is what they want because they don't want you to get in any celestial downloads based on what's happening. We just had a solar flare a couple of hours ago, big solar flare. Whenever we have a solar flare, those of us that are melanated and highly melanated, we get instant downloads. Even right now, like my body's kind of shaking, but it's okay. I'm still gonna do this. But there we get celestial downloads. We get basically X-rays. This is a scientific explanation, but we get X-rays from the sun, and X-rays is higher on the electromagnetic spectrum. So because of that, we get additional energy, right? We get additional downloads from our ancestors and from the cosmic realm from which we really come. Because again, we are gods. We are not from this planet. We are from the ether, right? So, and from ashes to ashes, stardust to stardust. So we're going back to stardust eventually. So what we're doing, remember the 5th of November, correct? So what they're going to do is they're going to have as much chaos, lower the people's vibration as much as possible, right? Could be the form of, and I still think that there's going to be a big solar flare that knocks out power, which is going to cause chaos. I also believe that they're going to try to manufacture some sort of food shortage, right? Or some sort of alien invasion, anything to keep the people in chaos up until December and through December. The whole goal is to keep people in chaos as fragile through late November, early December, as much as possible. And you're going to see that happening. The reason being, and there's also going to be another lockdown. You're already seeing it happening in Europe. So whatever happens in Europe, if you study the news and you study world news, whatever really happens in Europe, England specifically, usually happens in America shortly after. So you're going to see, it was Brexit, then it was Trump, right? So you're going to see, and you're going to see the lockdowns coming in December because they're going to keep saying the cases are getting higher and higher. They're going to keep fudging the debts. They're going to keep manufacturing the debts and so forth and so on. After that, what's going to happen is more and more people are going to lose their business. As more and more people start to lose their business because the lockdown is going to force them out of business, the people that are holding on by a thread, they're going to be forced out of business. People are going to need financial relief. See, the only way out of this whole thing is you're going to have to give stimulus. You're going to have to give stimulus checks. So those of you who are struggling, those of you who are broke right now, don't worry. Stimulus is coming. The money is coming. What they're going to do once they lower and once they destroy everybody's confidence, people are going to be begging for what they have, a universal basic income. This is what they've been predicting since I've read the New World Order. I mean, New World Order. Since I've read, yeah, I'm real jittery right now. Earlier, I wasn't like this. But anyway, I didn't do anything to really cause. But anyway, the New World Order is about one world government. So it's one world currency, one world governing body, one world everything. And there is a video on YouTube called the Global Reset. Matter of fact, let's look up the Global Reset because this is really what it's about. And they just had a Newsweek article about this particular subject. Okay, so they already had a Great Reset summit in June. This Great Reset. So it says the Great Reset will be the theme of a unique twin summit in January 2021, convened by the World Economic Forum. Great Reset is a commitment to jointly and urgently bring the foundations of our economic and social system for a more fair, sustainable, and resilient future. So this is what's going to happen. All right, man. This is what's going to happen. And what they're trying to do is, so look, it says world radical plan to transform the economy. So the plan is already in place. And look what it says. Every country from the United States to China must participate in every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed. We'll cause FWAB, okay? And all the princes and some Saudis and some, the real ultra rich and powerful are all in on this. Okay. Again, it says every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed. In short, we need a great reset of capitalism. Okay. So that's when the cryptocurrency will start to be introduced in January, right? After everything occurs and after everything kind of shifts in 2020. So that's when the cryptocurrencies, it'll be in a unit. So in order to get the universal basic income, it's going to be in a cryptocurrency. So the dollar bills will change, the way we use money will change. There'll be one general central bank, one general central economy. This is what they're trying to do. It's because the people are going to be broke. The people are going to need it. And they know this. They know the people are not, there's no stimulus, there's no money out there, the jobs are slim, right? They know this. And also, there's going to be somewhere down the line a food crisis, a manufactured food crisis that comes out, okay? And they're already starting this whole thing with the money, right? Because there's a coin shortage, so to speak. You go to some states, you can't find coins. They won't give you coins at the register. You go to some airports, they won't give you coins, right? You can only use your card. So they're already starting this. They're already conditioning the people. And this whole lockdown thing is to prepare you for the next stage, which is virtual reality, right? When you're going through all these lockdowns, which will continue, which will become part of life, right? Even post vaccine, because now that they have this whole, we could scare everybody with disease, this is not going to stop. This is going to be a way of life moving forward, where they're going to have, when the new 6G gets introduced, they're going to have a new wave of something, and so forth and so on. So they're going to keep using these diseases to scare people and to keep people in lower vibration. The whole goal for the elite is to keep you as low frequency as possible. Because when you're low frequency, you can't get these downloads. When you're low frequency, you're not in tune with nature. When you're low frequency, you don't get to see what's going to happen in the future. You're not looking at things from a bird's eye view. The whole goal is to get you emotionally involved in humanity, emotionally involved in what's going on, instead of preparing for something like this. Like, this is real. You know what I'm saying? Where will you be financially at the end of the year? What are you putting in place so that you can take care of yourself? What if the requirement is that you have to get this vaccine? Your whole family has to get vaccines, which is probably going to be part of it for you to get this basic income so you can survive. You have an alternate means of making money, right? And the whole thing is put you in these lockdowns again so that you could, because again, if you want the society, and no society lasts forever, right? Everyone has their time in the sun. And right now, this is just the white man's time in the sun. The black man had his time in the sun at one point, you know what I'm saying? At one point, it was the people in England. At one point, it was the Indians. At one point, it was China. Like, everyone has their time in the sun. Everyone has their time in the sun as world and global powers. Greece, but they all fall. The Persians, but they all fall eventually, and this society will as well. Okay, and no disrespect to the lesbians and gays, but every time that lesbianism and gays has been legally sanctioned, it's been like, and this is in Greek society. You could look this up yourself. Don't believe me. But once that has been implemented as like, this is okay and this is part of society, that starts the usually the destruction of a society, which you're starting to see here. It's usually like a sign that society is going, that particular society is starting to crumble. And it's just throughout history, throughout the great societies, when it became legal. Now, I'm not against it. I think people should live the way they want. That's just what happens. So the more and more this will happen, the more and more people will be looking towards the computer for saving, for salvation. So people are going to, that's where they're going to start boosting up the virtual reality. The Oculus Rifts are going to be much more flyer, right? The new versions of virtual reality are going to be contacts. It's going to look just like it did in Ready Player One. But you have to realize the whole purpose of gathering this information is to create something that they have called a sentient, let me turn this off, something that they have called the sentient world simulation. And the sentient world simulation is basically this world, and this is really what Elon Musk is trying to do with all these satellites outside of Earth, trying to strengthen, is this sentient world simulation where basically your computer profile. So they know Rob Blackstorm's into documentaries and science and comedy and action movies and whatever, right? So right now, even as I'm talking to you, I'm feeding the AI. When you go on Google, you're feeding the AI. When you go on YouTube, you're feeding the AI. Facebook, so forth and so on. Even just surfing the internet, if you're not on any type of, well, you're obviously on YouTube, but if you're not on anything other than YouTube or any other search engine, you're still feeding the AI. So when you're feeding the AI, what they've had, and shout out to what's his name, Rogue Titan put me onto these people, Georgie Rhodes and Frank Wurzel. And what they're doing is basically they've created what they have is a network outside of the world. So you keep feeding the machine, you keep feeding the server, and the server is creating a digital version of you called the M. And this digital version of you is basically based on your brain waves. On Amazon, go watch the movie Black Box. Okay, it's a black horror movie called Black Box. It's on Amazon Prime. And in that particular movie, well, I don't want to spoil the plot, but the movie's really about brainwaves and how brainwaves get utilized and how you could utilize brainwaves and transfer them wherever you want. And that's really what they're trying to do. If you see on Netflix again, altered on, well, this is Netflix. If you see on Netflix, altered carbon, okay, where they have that little disc of consciousness and you could put that consciousness into, I believe they call them sleeves. They call bodies, human bodies or avatar bodies sleeves. And they just plugged in basically that little disc and put it in the back of your head. So basically, they're trying to create computer models for AI because the whole goal is to make this a digital society where humans interact with robots and also where humans become half robot. That's where we're going. You know what I'm saying? That's the next step. And that's what they're trying to prepare and condition society for. Now, what does that mean for us? Those of us that know better, we don't have to fall victim to brain practices that we have been doing because we want to be ahead of the curve. And the whole goal is not to be scared, but to be prepared, right? And this whole thing, again, this myth of race is really going back to what I was talking about earlier, is really a big thing because as long as they have you thinking, I'm black, and that's your primary identity, you can always be puppeted by something that's in the media. You could always be puppeted by someone getting shot tomorrow, right? You could always be puppeted by black man versus black woman. You could always be put in a trick bag, so to speak. You could always be manipulated. Look at it this way, right? You got FBA, you got ADOS, and they're saying that they don't want to align with black people that are from Africa or from the Caribbean or whatever because they want reparations for what they've done here. And I get that and I understand that. But that's sowing division. That's sowing division. Why don't you want all black people to get reparations? Like all of us. Like all of us. Caribbean people came here and sacrificed and worked hard too. Like there's no African people, everyone has come here and everyone that is black has suffered in America. So everyone, if you're really pro-black as you say you are, you can't say I'm just pro-black for American blacks, but I'm not pro-black for anyone else. And the reason you're doing that is for money, is for reparations. Now I'm not hating. Get all the reparations you can, right? Get all the money you can. I'm not against that. But the price is for you to separate yourself from me. But yet, when it comes to me buying your DVDs, when it comes to me buying your products, we're pro-black. When it comes to me donating, we're pro-black. We're all black. When it comes to me supporting your videos and your films, we're all pro-black, right? It's either one or the other, right? But in a holographic universe, guess what? You're nothing but an atom. Really, real talk. You're nothing but atom. You're nothing but carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. That's it, right? You are stardust in real time, right? You are in an avatar body in this flesh here, living the hero's journey as you so see it. If you are following this channel, your goal is self mastery. Your goal is to become a better person. Your goal is to live your highest self and get your greatest manifestations and maintain your sanity and maintain your well being and maintain your peace of mind and joy. But once you have division, once you are emotionally involved in these divisions, once you see yourself as separate from something or separate from this person because of their race or separate with this person because of their culture, then you're limiting your magic. You're limiting your sphere of influence. You're limiting the power of thought. You're limiting the power of your desire because you don't know how your blessing is going to come. You don't know how your manifestation is going to appear, through what channel, through what means. You don't know who is going to help you in this life. You don't know who's going to help you in this life. So yes, you're supposed to roll with your people. Now, I'm not saying I know I'm black. I understand that I'm black, but I also understand that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And I know that there's black people literally right outside that will kill me, stand over me, and take a selfie. I know there's black cops that will kill me and think nothing of it, right? Nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I know I could walk through certain places and I will get robbed and beat the fuck up, being black by other black people. So it's deeper than so. If that's not what I really am, and there's really no solidarity in that, then I have to ask myself. Then I have to be something deeper than that because I can't just be black, right? I gotta be deeper than that. So the deeper than that is that you're a god, that you are the highest and the greatest manifestation that there is here on earth, and you can create, and you can overcome, and you could defeat anything, right? Even this. Look at some of the chants that we say, right? No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Right? Now, I thought the NFAC was supposed to be killing everything, right? After the Breonna Taylor verdict. Everything is no justice, no peace, right? So right now there shouldn't be no peace because there was no justice. George Floyd, no justice, no peace. There shouldn't be no peace because there was no justice. But I feel like the cops are sleeping fine. I think the government officials are sleeping fine. I think the judges and the DA are sleeping fine. But guess who doesn't have peace? And guess who doesn't have justice? The people that are chanting no justice, no peace repetitiously over and over and over like a mantra. Now imagine if you change that to justice, or we want justice and peace, or we deserve justice and peace, or we demand justice and peace. This is a different type of mantra. It's a different type of energy. It's a different type of affirmation. So again, the mythology the mythology of race is divide and conquer. Law 31 of the 48 laws. Law 31 of the 48 laws. Divide and conquer. Control the options. And that's what's happening with this whole election, this whole Trump versus Biden. It's all divide and conquer, and the elite sit back, right, and manipulate you in these videos with these political parties, with these shows, and use magic on you. And you don't even know it. You don't even see it. You have no idea. You
That has empowered me,
people
but I know
people are looking at this guy as a savior. There's people that are really looking, that have probably joined and signed up and believe that this guy will be able to save them. That he'll be the future. And watch what progresses, because he's backed by these secret societies. This is going to become a popular thing over time. It's just started. And especially after they manipulate the what's going to happen in these couple of months. So again, November, December, very important. It's going to be very chaotic. Please be prepared. As I always tell you guys, have some water, Get a firearm if you can. If it's, in the area where it's legal, get a firearm. Make sure you have some food. Make sure you're able to warm yourself, warm your house. Have some money stashed away, and take care of yourself. Health wise, eat right. Switch your diet. Coming on December the 21st, you don't want to be the person with 1,000,000 pounds of dead flesh sitting in your gut. You don't want to be the person drunk and stumbled and hungover. You don't want to be the person overly intoxicated. You want to be ready so that you can receive that download or see that celestial vision or be a shit. What if, I mean, anything could happen during that time. I've seen many things with aliens even draft you up. Alexis, you got to go to my future 2022 video. Future 2022 video, and I talk more about December 21st there. There's a whole video about it actually, where I had to code another video. But yeah, man. So you said January, then what? Oh, yeah. So what do you mean? What do you mean January, then what? So after this great reset, that's really it. People gonna be vaccinated. People are gonna be isolated again. Things are gonna go back to semi-normal. There's going to be one world government. There's going to be a debt. I believe there's going to be a debt wipeout where they wipe out all the debt. Remember, this thing is called the Great Reset. Going back to that. Again, every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed. Okay? So that's what's going on. Okay? Myron, what spells are they casting exactly? You probably have to watch the replay. I went into it. Do they try to divide us so that we don't break? Um, do they try to divide us so that we don't break? I don't understand that question. Division is breaking. Okay, division is breaking. Even if you look at the whole science or the mythology behind the story of Adam and Eve. Eve is about evening. It's about the separation of the Adam or the atom. It's about life. It's about the separation or a segregation or a division. So the story of Eve, that's why the snake, the Kundalini snake, which was the snake that was tempting Eve, which was really energy riding through the body or riding through the Kundalini, was the snake and was about was given to Eve, or Eve was the person that was tempted because it was about an evening or distributing. That's why eating from the tree of the knowledge, the tree of life, the tree of the knowledge of good and bad is really about partaking in this world, right? Partaking in differences, partaking in separation. So that's eating from the truth, or eating from the knowledge of the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil. When you play in good or play in evil, instead of using these two forces for your own benefit, for your own good, using black and white, using darkness and light, using yin and yang, using source energy, dark energy, right? Creating from your mind, which is the source of dark energy, your subconscious, which is the source of dark energy, meditation, right? Going within, grounding, things like that, right? Those, and then producing things from light energy, using your hands, using your creation, using your mouth, right? Using your feet, actually being active, coming from the darkness of sleep, the darkness of going to the subconscious, the darkness of using rituals and candles and tapping the subconscious that way, and then actually taking action, which is a yang effect, right? So that's how, I forgot, I was answering somebody's question. But that is the yin and yang. And ultimately, so that is the division, right? And you could play on either side using whatever you need. So that's what I was saying. Using each side of yin and yang for whatever purpose you need it for, right? There is a time where you have to fuck somebody up, right? You have to be real aggressive. You have to tap into that yang part of yourself, right? There's times, again, where you have to relax, where you can't go to war. Your girl say something crazy, sometimes you just got to ignore it, right? You gotta be yin with it. You know what I'm saying? Your husband, your boyfriend, whatever. You gotta look, it ain't worth the war. Let me just, you know what I'm saying? Let it go. You gotta be yin with it. And sometimes you gotta look, relax. Who the fuck you think you're talking to, right? You gotta be yang with it. So this way of harnessing the yin and yang energy or using the unity of the visions in magic is a way, what I showed you through this video, through the checkerboard, is a way of manipulating your consciousness, is a way of making you susceptible, is a way of trapping your, basically trapping your soul using those two colors in succession and basically hypnotizing you so that you are emotionally connected to what you're actually seeing. That's really it. And that's happening. Divide and conquer is always in play. You just have to be perceptive enough to see it. Can you explain energy harvesting? Um, Energy harvesting. So, energy harvesting is what happens when I'll give you a simple example of energy harvesting. Energy vampirism. Okay. So you're sitting down reading a book, right? You're laying down reading a book. And your loved one, your spouse or whatever, comes down, sits next to you and starts tickling you, right? And you're like, leave me alone. I'm reading. You know what I'm saying? You're really into the book or whatever. You really enjoy what you're reading. Leave me alone, right? But they're tickling you. That person, your spouse, harvested your energy if you put your book down. It's that simple. If you put your book down, they harnessed your energy. When they have all these riots, this whole election anxiety. Thank you, Caesar, for the donation. Appreciate it. These yes, Jupiter Ascending is a real good one. Monsters Inc. Cartoon, real good one. Okay, about energy harvesting. But when you tune in, when you give your energy to Black Party, when you give your energy to Trump versus Biden, when you give your energy to white supremacy, when you give your energy to black supremacy, when you give your energy to the news, when you give your energy to shit, bullshit, reality TV, right? All these things are there's power. See, when you use money, that's a representation of you giving power away. Okay, you giving currency. That's why it's called currency. So people are able to feed into that currency. Energy vampires are able to feed off of your energy. They're able to use your energies for specific rituals, for harnessing rituals in things like this and these alchemical crosses, right? And these alchemical ways, they're able to take your energy, create seals such as this, crosses and circles and sigils. Take your energy, the elite, take your energy. All these people are going to be gathering in Washington on in the park on Washington on this day. That's a lot of people. They're going to be passionate. They're going to be screaming. Okay, let's create a replica of that particular place, that particular image, latitude, longitude, figure out what they're going to be talking about, tap into the frequency of what they're going to be talking about, maybe hook up the microphone to a certain frequency that people don't even realize. So when they're speaking through the mic, this is how deep it goes. And if I'm thinking about this, this is things that they're thinking about. But harness the microphone and the speakers at a certain hertz, 432, 712, 440, whatever it is, at a certain hertz, right? So that when the people talk, we could have this frequency playing while we have this seal, while we do this ritual, and literally pull the motherfucking energy from the ethers. Energy harvesting on a high level. Okay. So it shows you on a macro and a micro level how energy harnessing works. Okay. And your kids do it. We all do it. It's part of growing up, and it's part of manipulation in a way. But it's how it's done and it's what it's done for. Even little kids, you know what I'm saying? When they want attention, You know what I'm saying? You might be you talking to your wife or whatever, and your kid comes over and they want attention. They're gonna start doing backflips and front flips and spill something, right? They want attention. He's trying to harvest it. He's trying to harvest your energy. He's trying to take your energy. That kid, he or she is trying to take your energy and use it for his benefit. And your energy is what? Your attention. Your attention and your emotional involvement with the child. Okay, is your attention and your emotional involvement. Your election anxiety, that's your attention and your emotional involvement. Okay, George Floyd, your attention, your emotional involvement. Sandra Bland, your attention, your emotional involvement. The list goes on and on and on and on. When you are invested in humanity, instead of looking at humanity like a movie, gotta be like Neo. I say this all the time. You go in the Matrix, play in the Matrix, dip out of the Matrix. Don't get involved in the Matrix. Don't feel like the Matrix is real because it's not. It's a creation via the elite. And they're making replicas of you for a computer, for a digitized world called the sentient world simulation. They're trying to program every one of your moves. Sometimes on YouTube, I'll let a fishing video play. I'll let a farming video play. Like, I don't want them to know exactly what I think. So sometimes I'll go someplace and I'll let some random videos play of different things so that the algorithm is all thrown off. You see it? Now, mostly they know, you know what I'm saying, because it's things that I favor on the internet. We all use the internet, but I still try to throw the algorithm off a little bit so they don't know exactly who I am. So when they are making this replica of me, it's not 100% accurate. Little things I do. You know what I'm saying? But this is the reality of the future that we're going into. This is the reality that we live in currently. And the reality is to steal your attention, to steal your energy by any means possible, right? Steal your energy by any means possible. When somebody dies, perfect. A Chadwick Boseman and all these tributes and people are sad. Perfect time to use energy. Perfect time to take that energy, that pain and that sorrow, create a seal, invoke energy, and transfer that energy into whatever magical spell that you decide to conjure up. It's energy. It's available for all. You could feel it. When Trayvon Martin died, you could feel the energy in the air. You could. It was thick. It was tangible. You could actually feel it physically. When the verdict was read, I'm sorry that he was that Zimmerman was found not guilty. You could feel it. When OJ, well, y'all ain't old enough. A lot of y'all ain't old enough for that. But when OJ Simpson got off, you could feel the energy in the air. You could feel it. Like it wasn't something that was made up. So our ancestors have been warning us. People have been coming and coming. You know what I'm saying? Different prophets to tell us self mastery, to rise up this very tree that is being used against you, and the people that are tapping into different parts of this tree to utilize against you. People that are tapping into different signs and symbols to use against you so they can harness your energy. And by harness your energy, it's not just your intangible energy, it's also your money, because your money represents energy. When you're paying attention and watching reality shows, there's commercials being run. When you're on YouTube, there's commercials being run. When you're on Instagram, Facebook, social media, Google, there's commercials, there's ads, all designed to take your energy, which is currency, which is money as well. So there's that factor, because money is power. And the elite, they're greedy. They want as much as possible, as evidenced by this whole scamdemic. Okay, with all these people that are losing their business, all these people that have lost their jobs, all these people that are struggling. And they want more and more and more. They're going to buy up more and more and more of these companies and more of this land and more of these places. It's just like the game of Monopoly. Once you buy up all the property and people are strictly paying rent for you, the game is pretty much over, right? But now with this great reset, there's going to be literally like Monopoly, one big bank that's going to control everything. And that's what they're trying to implement. And that's what they are most likely going to implement, because majority, and just watching how society is, majority of people are sheep, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. And this is why it's very important to think for yourself. This is why it's very important not to follow the masses. This is why it's very important not to get involved with this reality. This is why it's very important to position yourself as an independent and a critical thinker. And when something happens that's shocking, that's crazy, the first thing you ask yourself is why? Why? What's the reason behind this? Don't just think it's a conspiracy. Ask, dig deep, ask, really find, dig and find the reason why. And if you're really looking, the universe will show you. The universe will show you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I watched this video with Puff and I was like, oh shit, look at this. The universe showed me, oh, this is a spell. I saw the black and white. I said, oh shit, this is a motherfucking spell. You see? Quickly, I saw him with the pick in the beginning.
If Trump station, I couldn't have talked to nobody about
I saw him with the pick. I said, oh, this is a spell. I said, he got black on, he got white on. This ain't no coincidence.
what we want
And
to.
then all of a sudden,
You just fell in love. I mean, hold your
hold up.
vocals.
Look at this back. Let me show you.
It God's will.
All right, you see how this background is, right? And even if you look at this video, there's different indicators when certain things happen where this particular, I think it's a kite or something like that, flies behind when he's saying certain things. And those things are to grab your attention and also to keep you emotionally involved as well. Part of the editing thing. And you see how this is a white, all white, right? And this is only a 30 something minute video, supposedly. This shows you how it's getting darker and then it goes black. But this is 30 minutes. So all this didn't happen in a 30-minute time span. And then it goes black. But I just want to show you also how this was planned. Then I'm going to get off of here. If y'all don't have any questions. Yeah, I don't know. I think them solar flares hit me because I feel weird. But thank y'all for hanging in there with me. All right, give me 1 second. Or I'm being zapped, either one, but they won't win. Well, you can watch this for yourself. But what I was trying to show you, if you look, Charlemagne in this video also has black and white pants on as well. All right. And Diddy has black. How do I feel about yeah, this is the ritual. Somebody asks, how do I feel? What? Oh, thank you for the donation, Caesar. I don't know if I said that already. Somebody type one. Let me or something. Let me say that. And if you're here, please hit the like button. I appreciate your viewership. Thank you. Got about 10 minutes. I'll close it in 2 hours. Somebody asked a question. I think somebody said, what do I think about Trump and young Pharaoh? Honestly, I don't really think about either one unless I'm looking at the magic within it. As far as Trump's concerned, to me, they're just entertaining. I mean, to me, all these presidents, I mean, I just look at a lot of these things as entertainment. As far as young Pharaoh, I mean, my perspective on young Pharaoh is I think he works for the government. That's just my personal opinion. I might be wrong. I could be right. But I think he works for the government. And again, anytime somebody takes sides, I don't care if you're a celebrity. I don't care if you're an artist. I don't care if you're a speaker, right? Especially somebody teaching spirituality and history and shit like that, right? Once you take a side of a white man, like a Trump, like you're gonna align yourself with that and hold rallies and shit like that? Nah, fam. Nah, fam. So that's my take on it. But that's just my personal opinion. But I don't have nothing against him. I know a lot of people follow him. I know a lot of people, swear by his work. I've watched maybe a couple of videos. He's not really my cup of tea personally. You know what I'm saying? Another guy I think with a great photographic memory. Yeah, and there's a lot of these teachers out here that, like I said this in the video, people like that. So it's not that impressive. A person with a high intellect that most people are impressed by I'm not impressed by your intellect. I'm not impressed by what comes out of your mouth. I'm not really impressed by your finesse. I'm not even impressed by the way you speak. I'm impressed by your character. I'm impressed by how you treat people when I see you going live, when I see you interact with people who buy things from you. If you're a scammer, right? Your disposition, if you look happy. Those are the things I go by. Those are the things that I go by when I judge a person. I judge a person more by their character than actually what they present or the words that come out of their mouth. Because I know some great speakers that are terrible people, magnificent speakers, blow anybody you could think of out of the box. But they are some of the worst people to be around. They're some of the worst people to know. They're some of the most manipulative, and the most con artists, the most conniving, the most gossipy. But if you get them on a podium and you tell them to talk about something, they're going to blow it out the water. So I don't really get impressed by speakers like a lot of people do. And I've just been in this spiritual circle for quite some time. So again, I know a lot of people just have photographic memory, so they're not as smart as people think they are. In fact, smart is a misnomer. Smart, actually, if you look at the etymology of the word smart, it means to hurt or to be in pain or to put something in pain. Like if you get a nick or something, you say, oh, that's smarts. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what smart means. Intellect, right? Intellect is just really memorizing a whole bunch of shit and regurgitating it. This is what a lot of PhDs, a lot of doctors, you know what I'm saying? Bill Gates, you know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know if Bill Gates has a PhD, but there's a lot of PhDs out here that are scamming people. You know what I'm saying? PhDs out here that are committing malpractice, doctors that are committing malpractice, people that have the highest levels of intelligence, so to speak, but are corrupt, but are terrible people, right? I'm sure some PhDs probably improved the Flint water, the water in Flint. So intellect, see, on the Kemetic tree of life, what I've studied is that intellect, actually, and we could even do this with the Kabbalah. Intellect right here is on this sphere. What is it called in the but it's, well, I know it's Sebek in Kemetic, but I forgot what it is in Kabbalah. Is you get buried in the society via wordplay. They hide everything behind wordplay. What the fuck is an alternative fact? You know what I'm saying? They have contracts written where they have people sign in perpetuity, and sort of because they don't know perpetuity, they don't realize that they signed a contract for the rest of their life, right? So even their grandchildren can inherit their creation. This is what happens in the music industry a lot. There are people, and in other industries as well, where people just don't know, right? So wordplay is the way that this Western society is able to hide behind concepts, behind ideas. For instance, the other time I was on live, I was thinking of cymatics. I think I said this before. I was thinking about cymatics, which is basically how you move things with sound. And I could see cymatics. I could see the sand moving from sound and things moving via sound, but I couldn't think of the word cymatics because the word is just a symbol for the reality. The word is just a symbol from what you get. This would be considered Kali or Bina on the Kabbalah. Bina or Kali, or would be considered Sekert on the commentary of life, spiritual power. So my thought of cymatics was already there. I could see it. It was already here on the highest tree. It was in my mind. I knew what it was. But the verbal word, the intellect part, I could not conceptualize at the time. You understand? You ever think of somebody, you see their face or whatever, but you can't remember their name? You see in your face is in that darkness within, your spiritual power, right? The astral plane, dark matter, sleep, right? I've been telling you guys, anytime you deal with the darkness, meditation, sleep, closing your eyes, outer space, they're all the same thing. Dark energy, dark matter, right? They're all the mind, the womb, all the same thing. dealing with this part of the tree of life. So words are down here, as you see. They're very low, very low. Eighth sphere, very, very low. This is third sphere shit, third eye shit, dark energy, right? So to answer that question, I don't really I don't really pay attention to intellects or people that claim to be intellectual because I understand how fickle words are. I look for gods and men and women. You know what I'm saying? I look for character. Character is the most important thing to me. How are you going to treat me? How are you treating other people around you? And then that's how I make my judgment of who you really are. And time reveals character. In time, all the worlds will fade away. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the people that we caught that have been scamming, right? That have been exposed in 2020, that had all the great words and had the great images and had the great, wolves in sheep's clothes, so to speak. A lot of people that were in this that even turned Christian, right? Once the once the once the shit hits the fan, so to speak, right? So that's that. Any other questions before I get out of here? Thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. Um, if you're new here, please subscribe. I do appreciate it. I'll be doing more of these, but yeah, I know I haven't done one in a while, so I wanted to come up with this. Feeling real jittery tonight, so excuse this presentation. I don't know how it's coming across. Hopefully, you're getting and understanding these concepts. Um, and it's very simple. And I just really want you to understand that the matrix is real, especially nowadays. The matrix is going to be pumping hard. I mean, hard, 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 especially with this election thing. Um, just the way things are going with the economy. Uh, it's just going to, even with this recent solar flare that we just had, like, it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy time. You could feel it. I think we all could feel it. We all are anticipating something happening, right? Especially with them boarding up all the businesses and stuff like that. Like, we all are anticipating things happening. And I just want to tell all y'all to maintain, still do your studies, still do your spiritual work, still be good people, still, shine your light, still glow, still radiate, still get your money. You know what I'm saying? Check in on your family members, make sure they are right. Take care of your children. Check in, make sure they are right. Talk to them. That means people are looking for ways to cope with stress, cope with cortisol, cope with the blood rushing from their brain to their hands and their arms. And when that happens, your IQ drops severely. And that's what all these things that are put out here to make you reactionary and react to everything that's happening out here. So the future is coming. The future is here. You could watch it like me. You could be prepared for it like I am, or prepare for it like I am. And again, I'm no superhero. I'm a human just like y'all. You know what I'm saying? I just look at the signs and symbols and I don't get emotionally involved. So because I'm not emotionally involved in anything that's happening in this world, unless it's happening to me, my family, and my loved ones, my immediate tribe, I really don't care. Yo, I really don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, this is my trinity. Me, first and foremost, because I don't love myself, I don't take care of myself. If I don't bless myself and I don't make myself abundant, nothing else matters. My family, because I got children that depend on me and that I have to take care of. You know what I'm saying? Those that I love, that I take care of because they love me and they show me love. Those are my first two priorities every day. Okay? Then the soul tribe. Friends, homies, family, co-workers, etc., social media, things like that. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I worry about the world. Then I tune into the Trumps and the Bidens and watch people go crazy and look at these ballots and see them on Facebook and complain and you know what I'm saying? And watch these things just like I watch an Avenger movie, just like I watch a Marvel movie. Because at the end of the day, this is a holographic reality. And I'm only going to be here for 100 something years anyway. So the best thing I am and what I am here to do is raise the vibration on the planet, That's my purpose. And the best thing for me to do is continue to raise that vibration so I can continue to be blessed, I can continue to be protected, and I can continue to be ahead of the curve and see the signs and symbols through my studies, my through my perceptive abilities, and through me going within, doing my meditative work and getting these downloads and getting instructions. I've programmed my shower through basically asking for it, right? And talking about it and while I'm in the shower. So that every time I go in the shower, I get new ideas. I get new ideas. I get direct ideas and I get direct downloads on what I should do that day, or how I should move, or what I was slipping on, or what I need to take care of. Every day I take a shower. But this is a programming that I've been doing for months. That's finally last couple of weeks been taking hold. So the key to magic is also repetition. A lot of y'all want to bibbity boppity boop shit in one night. Y'all want the quick bibbity boppity boop and then everything in the universe is going to happen. But nothing in the universe happens that way. But I do know one thing. If you do something over and over and over through repetition, right? If I work this muscle out over and over and over, I'm going to have big guns, right? That's just a fact. So the way I look at life is the way I look at my magic, the way I look at my manifestations, the way I look at my thoughts, the way I look at the energy and the passion and the feeling I put in my thoughts. And remember, last but not least, the big game is to capture your black emotions, because your black emotions, again, the reason you're in this black avatar body is because you are able to absorb light and sound much more efficiently. Unfortunately, it's one of the reasons why black people watch the most TV. Look it up. Black people watch the most TV. And the reason, because we have an affinity for light and sound. So we are highly magnetically attracted to light and sound. This is why you see black people wearing these big, bright, and bold colors. And this is why you see Caucasian people and people of other cultures, most, well, really the lighter the culture, the more Caucasian, the more European, you start seeing Abercrombie and Fitch, right? Earth tones, Eddie Bauer shit, right? Earth tones, and things like that, because we perceive light differently, right? We perceive light totally differently, those that are highly melanated. So the goal is to get you enraptured, entrapped emotionally, so that you feel like you have to buy into the system. Reverse that. When you see these emotions coming down the fight and you feel a certain way, start scripting, writing down the things that you want to manifest. Start lighting your candles, creating your petitions. That's an energy source. And if you feel it, it's power. You know what I'm saying? It's power that you can utilize for yourself. That's energy harvesting. Instead of worrying about what they're doing with the energy, you do something with the energy yourself. You harvest the energy for yourself. You start working on your business. You start creating something. You start building something. You start working out. Start. Use the energy. This energy the last 2 days have been great. Even if you're just sitting down and studying, it's been great for me for studying and just clearing my head, things like that, because of the energy that's out there. People are nervous and anxious, and you could feel it. So I'm harnessing that energy and using it for something else, for my benefit. You could do that as well. Or you could buy in and you could watch CNN all day like the sheep and wait to see who the new master is. The choice is yours. Anyway, I don't see any questions. I feel like might be yapping to death. I'm going to give y'all maybe 2 minutes if anybody has any questions, because I know it could be delayed. Anything I want to talk about. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I do appreciate it. And like. And I hope what I'm saying is I'm trying to explain this as simple as possible. Because it really is simple. You really, it's really just where you put your energy and where you put your attention and where you put your emotions. Your energy is your emotions. Your heart chakra is the greatest thing to use because that's what connects you to everything. But you control how you connect to everything and what you connect to and what you choose not to connect to. It's totally up to you. All right. I don't see any questions. Oh, I did see the light go up. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. You guys for tuning in. All right. I'm going to say peace, power, and prosperity. Have a great night, y'all.